We are coming to you from beautiful Comerica Park in Detroit, where this afternoon Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Avi Garcia, Melky Cabrera, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of this four-game set. As you know, we're coming out of Cleveland, where we lost the rubber match yesterday by a score of 6-3. But, you know, in the bump for us today is a guy who has really had a disappointing second half.
He had a pretty decent first half, but Jeff Samardzija has really struggled, and he's just got a short period of time to try to turn it around before this offseason. Last time out, Jeff was not great, but better than he's been. Unfortunately, he's had just a tough time of it, and Oakland continued the tough times. When you take a look at the last 9 starts, Jeff Samardzija has been a completely different pitcher than he was before the trade deadline. That starts on August 2nd. He's 1-8. His ERA up over 9. As you can see, in 49 2/3 innings, 71 hits, opponents hitting .336, and he's allowed 12 to leave the ballpark, including the last 7 outings, at least 1 home run. So unfortunately for Jeff, the second half hasn't really worked out, but he's got a chance today and maybe his next start or 2 to make things happen for him.
Well, these two teams, nothing's worked out the whole season. Coming out of spring training, high expectations certainly for us, high expectations for the Tigers, and here we are 1 game above them for last place in the Central.
It's pretty much amazing that both of these teams are suffering through very difficult seasons. As you look at the standings, you'll realize that it's the Tigers, a game behind our Sox. Both teams thought they would be right at the top of this division, battling Kansas City, but unfortunately it hasn't worked out that way. And in this first game, Miguel Cabrera is out of the lineup. And so the Tiger trouble started at the trade deadline when they got rid of Price and Cespedes. They fired GM and president Dave Dombrowski. A lot of rumors about Brad Ausmus. Will he be back or not? It's pretty hard to figure out exactly what's going to happen, but they do know that with Cabrera out of the lineup, a lot of pressure falls to Victor Martinez. Now, although he's having a down year, against our Sox, he's just been magnificent. And he hasn't been any better than he's been this season. But look overall, his lifetime against our Sox in this year. Career .332, this year .433. He's hit 26 home runs. He's driven in 108 runs. He's hit 1 home run this year. He's driven in 9. He's had some injury problems. He hasn't been the same Victor, but against our ball club, he's one of the best hitters, one of the most clutch hitters in all of baseball, and hopefully today they'll be able to hold him down.
Well, it's the 108 RBIs. It's not how many, it's when he got them, and he certainly got them at the right time against us this season and in his career. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. Xfinity. Your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back to Comerica Park. It's a beautiful day in Detroit. A good day for two, as they say. And both of these teams looking to find out some answers to next year's problems by playing a lot of their young players. And let's take a look at how Robin is going to line up our Sox. Adam Eaton leading it off with Alexei Ramirez in the 2 spot. Then it's Jose Abreu in his familiar 3 spot. Melky Cabrera, the designated hitter. Trace Thompson, who's been pretty good since coming up to the major leagues. Then Avisail Garcia, Giovanni Soto behind the plate, Mike Holt, and Carlos Sanchez rounded out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Kyle Ryan. Tyler Collins in left field, Anthony Gose in center, Steven Moya, the big right-hand hitter, out in right field. Then it's Jeffrey Marte, Dixon Machado, Ian Kinsler, and Victor Martinez in the infield with Brian Holiday behind the plate. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Kyle Ryan. He's on for his 6th start, his 14th game. He's 2-3, his ERA up over 5. He's not exactly a soft-tossing left-hander. He hasn't had all that much success, but he's got a fastball that'll top out at 93. He's got a slider and a straight change to go with it. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Mark Carlson, the crew chief, is behind the plate. Stu Sherwater is at first. Trip Gibson is at second, and Tom Woodring is at third. Brad Ausmus, the subject of many rumors. Will he stay? Will he go? That is yet to be determined if you listen to their general manager, Al Avila. And we'll just have to see. This is his 2nd year as a Tiger manager. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. That means we're ready to kick off this split doubleheader, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as the first pitch of the ball game taken for a strike. Ryan, 23 years old, 6'5", 215 pounds, out of Auburndale, Florida. Sounded like a broken bat. Kinsler's got him. And that's out number 1. So very quickly with 1 out, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angia, our director and the crew, well, they went with Avi. Steve's going with Trace Thompson. And Mike Mazin, all the crew. In the ticket office, we're going to go with Giovanni Soto. As here is first pitch strike to Alexei.
Game plan fairly simple for Ryan. He really has to stay ahead. If he stays ahead, he can be fairly effective.
Go to 0-2. Now field for the most part straight up. And here at Comerica Park, 345 down the left field line, 330 down the right field line. 365 in right center, 370 in left center, and 420, a large 420 dead away center. Full count. Alexei has faced Ryan 5 times, has a couple of hits.
Last 19, he's been swinging it pretty well. It's the most surprising thing about the recent resurgence of Alexei is the fact that he's actually taking walks.
This is the 13th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 12, we have won 5 of them. We've played 6 times here at Comerica Park, and of the 6 times we've won 2 of them. Very disappointing season for both teams. One hopper, 2 out. So here's Abreu. Jose at 297, 29 homers and 95 knocked in.
And he's creeping up on those marks that he's looking for. 30 home runs, 100 runs batted in. He'll probably be in excess of both of those. And when he does achieve that, only Albert Pujols in his first 2 years has been able to do that. That's elite company.
When you talk about one player in the history of this game doing that.
Pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, it is, really. It certainly is. 1-1 the count.
He has left a team that he's just pummeling the Indians this year. Now he's got to establish himself on a day where it seems like the ball's going to be pretty lively.
Well, it just couldn't be any better. It's a great day to win a baseball game. In fact, it's a great day to win 2 baseball games.
68 degrees at game time. It's going to get a little chillier for the nightcap of that game to start at 6 o'clock Central Time.
3-1.
Jose, if he gets his fastball away, that's a very short porch in right field.
That ball hit high into left field. And a 1-2-3 inning for the young southpaw, Kyle Ryan.
Anthony Gose leading it off, and it's Ian Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, Victor Martinez with Tyler Collins, Jeffrey Marte, Stephen Moya, Brian Holiday, and Dixon Machado at shortstop and hitting 9th. The defense and out the lineup behind Jeff Samardzija, Trace Thompson, Adam Eaton, and Avisail Garcia in the outfield. With Mike Gold, Alexi Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Giovanni Soto gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jeff Samardzija on for his 31st start. Looking for his 10th win. His ERA up there over 5.25. He's given up 27 home runs this year. That leads the staff in that department.
So here's a man you want to keep off the base paths, the speedster, Anthony Gose. Hitting at 261, 5 homers, 26 knocked in, and he has 21 stolen bases. But he's been thrown out 10 times, so to say he's got the speed, just probably does not have a real good technique. He has faced Samardzija 15 times, has 5 hits. Tigers come in hitting at .272 as a club with a 4.76 ERA. Count evens at 1.
One of the reasons they went out and got Ghosts from Toronto was that they've got a pretty sharp platoon system in center field. Two guys who can go get them. Rajai Davis being one of them. He's the right-handed counterpart to Anthony Ghosts, who gets the majority of play because he sees more right-handed starters.
Jeff, 1-1 this season against the Tigers, 1-1 in his career.
He just wants to get through this first inning. It has been a nightmarish first all year for him. His ERA up over 7 in the first inning. If he can get through, might propel him to a pretty good performance.
Here you go. 1 out.
This is a pretty sharp breaking slider, breaking down and in, disappears out of the zone, and Ghost expands his zone. That's a good way to start the game. Keep the base stealer on the bench.
That'll bring up a tough customer to play, Ian Kinsler, hitting at .304, 11 homers, and he's knocked in 70. Last year, hit 17 homers and drove in 92.
Just have to be careful on the first pitch. He's a real aggressive first ball fastball hitter.
Well, he has been one of, if not the most aggressive hitters in this league since he came into this league. And he's a pretty good second baseman.
He's been a big part of this team in their 4 straight division championships. It was a dual purpose trade when they traded Prince Fielder and got back as a principal. They got back the man you're looking at, Ian Kinsler. By trading Fielder, they opened first base so Cabrera could slide from third to first, seemingly trying to save his body. And they got a good second baseman in Kinsler.
1-2 the count. Tigers 35-39 here at home, 34-40 on the road. And not a bad crowd for an unscheduled 1 o'clock game on a Monday.
I think it's actually pretty amazing. If you look around, you realize there's this many people here. This is the make-up game of the rainout.
And there was a strike that he didn't get right there from Mark Carlson.
Regularly scheduled game tonight.
Two. He gone. Two down.
This first inning, unlike previous firsts, he's had a really good slider. I mean, he's throwing them in good spots. They're late breaking, and Kinsler has no chance. Almost had him on a pitch before and got him on this one.
You watch his slider, and if it's got depth on it, you know he's staying on top. When it doesn't have depth, it's a spiral. Or it looks like a cement mixer coming up there, and it gets hit very hard because he's getting underneath it. So here's J.D. Martinez having another terrific season. 37 homers, 96 knocked in, hitting at .284. What a find he was.
They got him essentially for nothing as Houston decided that they had a lot of young players. They really didn't need J.D. Martinez. He's been a godsend for these Tigers.
Well, the whole story on that was, though, that they tried to trade for J.D. and Houston wouldn't trade him. Then they released him.
It's pretty amazing, I know.
This is like Fernando Tatis hitting 2 grand slams in 1 inning. But the sequel and the punchline to that story is hit him off the same guy, Chan-Ho Park. Alexei. Couple of strikeouts, ground out. Nice inning for Jeff. Cantrell roll and get his reaction to yesterday's setback and look ahead to week 3 against Seattle. It's the Cantrell roll show tomorrow night at 11. We'll see us in Chicago.
It's getting to the point with Melky where you just figure he's going to hit the ball hard. The question is, who's it going at? Because once again, he slipped into hitting in some pretty tough luck, despite hitting a whole lot of pitches right on the screws.
Hitting at 274, 11 homers, 73 driven in. Ghosts.
Join us at U.S. Cellular Field on Saturday, October 3rd, as the White Sox host these Detroit Tigers at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive stretch sale action figure. For tickets or more information, visit whitesox.com.
Here's Trace. 352, 4 homers, 13 knocked in. Takes first pitch strike. Oh, and 2.
Ryan made his debut against our ball club as a 26th man in a doubleheader on August 30th last year.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Trace.
There are the career numbers. They've been pretty good.
And a full count. You'll notice and think back on Trace's at bats. He's had quite a few full counts. Bodes well for a young, strong hitter. There, hang Wolfham right there. A rocket right to Kinsler.
He stayed right with that, and that was a fastball low and away. So you work the count full to get the pitch you really want. He gets the pitch, and unfortunately, Kinsler right there. Does a nice job. You saw the head staying right down on the swing. He didn't pull off it at all. But they had a guy there.
Here's Avi at 262, 12 long ones, and 56 knocked in.
Outfield shading him toward right center field. He's able to get out ahead of one. You can run all day if he hits the ball to left center. You cannot play center field here unless you're a burner. If you can't really go get him, pick another spot or another team.
Two out, 1-2 the count. And that evens it at 2. Well, it's a bit of an unusual day here. John Walgren, who's going to be producing for us the rest of the way. John did something today I've never heard of happening before. He got to the ballpark this morning before the sun came up. It was still dark. As he strikes out, 1, 2, 3 in there. 6 up, 6 down for Kyle Ryan.
Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Bottom of the second inning, no score. It'll be Victor, and then Tyler Collins and Jeffrey Marte.
This lineup still has some guys who can hurt you, but it's completely different without the big boy in the middle. Without Miguel Cabrera to worry about, it gets a whole lot easier to face these guys.
Victor hitting at .243, 10 homers, 60 knocked in. And he takes first pitch strike.
Victor's been a much better hitter from the right side than he's been from the left side, where he's hitting just .215.
Now Miguel Cabrera hitting at .338, 17 homers, 73 knocked in. Just 111 games.
Pretty strong for a guy that's been banged up all year.
He's been pretty well banged up for the last 3 or 4 years. He won a Triple Crown being banged up. He won a Triple Crown in 2 adverse circumstances. First of all, being banged up, and next of all, in the midst of a pennant race.
He's also leading in batting average by a wide margin over Xander Bogaerts. 338 to 322.
2-1 pitch.
They don't appear as big as they usually are, but still the on-base percentage at .441. The batting average is .338. They both lead the AL. That's pretty good. In fact, that's exceptionally good.
Adam Eaton almost right in his tracks.
White Sox fans, celebrate your culture with Hispanic Heritage Night on October 2nd, presented by Miller Lite. There's going to be Latin music and dancing, special activities for kids, an on-field parade, and a post-game fireworks show. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, official beer of your Chicago White Sox. Tickets start as low as $10. Visit whitesox.com/NHH.
Here's Collins, 25-year-old outfielder. He's got some pop. .272 minor league hitter. .21 to count. Good rip.
He played in the Australian Baseball League in 2011. Here in the MVP award in their All-Star game. Trying to find some spot to stick in the major leagues.
A little bit low. That ball deep into right center field, Ivy. And now it's Adam. Ball hit well, but not enough. 2 down.
If you can pull that ball just a touch, it's a home run. But as that scoreboard starts jutting out on its way to center field, into deep right center, there's all kinds of room, and Adam was able to run it down.
So here's the third baseman, Jeffrey Marte, hitting at .231, 3 homers. He's driven in 9.
This is the only game being played this afternoon. 10 games this afternoon. 10 games tonight after this one this afternoon.
Outfield straight up. Adam deep out there in center. Small gap in right center. Adam. Once again, he's a busy guy. Makes all 3 putouts, and that's 6 up, 6 down for some Martin. And Sanchez here in the top of the 3rd inning. There's not been a base runner in this game. 6 up, 6 down for both pitchers. First of 2 here today in Detroit. Game 2 will be a 6:08 Central start, and that game will be over WPWR My 50. Eric Johnson on the bump for us tonight against Randy Wolf, a soft tossing left-hander.
Randy Wolf has really struggled. Eric, on the other hand, has thrown it pretty well.
That gun right, he is. That's a
beautiful,
nice
pitch.
Play right there by Jeffrey Marte. Full layout and a hang with him for Soto.
Looks like he took a double away from him as Marte goes toward the line. That first step quickness to his right and able to corral it.
So here's Holt. 229, a couple of homers. Yeah, Eric Johnson's been a tale of 2 pitchers. One we had last year, one we had the year before, and the one we had the year before last year. We got him back this year so far.
We have to admire the fact that he spent most of the year at AAA and reclaimed all the confidence that he had 2 years ago. I mean, he's as aggressive as he was before. I guess being the AAA pitcher of the year in the International League will do that for you, but he's carried it up here to the major leagues in his 3 starts.
Kinsler's got him. 2 down. Well, he's got a nice routine. If you watch him tonight, we'll talk about it. The game starts. He throws the first couple of pitches from in front of the mound. And he works his way back up to the mound. And he's doing the same thing every time. Routine, which really settles the guy's mind. That's what routines are for. Pressure is the biggest killer of performance, and when pressure comes, you got to have some place to go. And you're hearing more and more golfers, for an example, talk about they're working on their routines, because when you got to come down 16, 17, and 18, you got to make par, par, par. You got to have some place to go, and that's what they do. They crawl inside their routine, and Eric appears to be of that ilk. That's fair ball. Carlos, you can cancel a post-game show. Picks up his 23rd 2-bagger.
This time a little bit over the glove of Marte, so he was able to do what Soto couldn't do, and that's get it by their third baseman. He got a fastball. Ryan tried to throw it inside, couldn't get it there. Rifled down the line, and it kicks around a bit. And before Collins can get it back in, Carlos coasts into second.
Here's Adam. Sounded like he broke his bat and grounded out to Kinsler, leading off the ball game, as there's a pick by Brian Holiday. Good rip underneath it, and the count 1-1. And that's foul.
And he cracks another bat. Current 9-game hitting streak for Adam, which he's hit .381, including 3 extra base hits, driven in 5, scored 8. He's got a chance to drive in the first run of the ball game.
So he's already gone through $200 worth of bets
in 2 at bats. Ghost has got a pretty good arm in center field.
There's the base hit. They're going to wave him around. And here's the throw. They got him. And
Carlos wants him to take a look at it.
Carlos wants a review. So Robin's saying, hold on.
He thinks that he got the hand in before the tag, even though the throw beat him. He says he went to the back of the plate, got the hand in before the tag by Holiday. It's a good throw by Moya. He charges it aggressively, makes a 1-hop throw, throws right there. And if indeed he did catch the plate, because Holiday didn't block it off with his shin guard until Carlos was by it. Question is, did he grab the plate or not?
Well, it appeared from that angle he did.
If he hit the plate, he's safe. The hand got in before the tag. That one's not a debatable issue.
Well, the thing about it is that Mark Carlson was right on top of it. They just showed an angle up there at the scoreboard. Did he or didn't he? That's the question. appears to be our best angle. Carlson's looking right at it. I mean, he's standing. He's in great position. He's not out of position to make the call. He's right there.
Well, the key once again, conclusive proof to overturn, because the call on the field is that he was out.
We're looking at another shot of it. It's either or. It's that simple. It's not a hard decision. It's just, did he touch the plate? One thing about Sanchez, to my recollection, this is the first time he has asked Robin to review a play on him all season.
And the wise thing to do, regardless of the result of this call, is to get back on the mound and throw some warm-ups while you're waiting.
Well, they just told him to get back out there.
I mean, you know, standing around is not going to help you very much if, in fact, they do call him safe at the plate. You're going to have to face Ramirez.
So we are still awaiting. Carlson talking to New York. Safe. And it's 1-0 Sox. That'll be an RBI for Adam, number 49. Minutes 40 seconds for that review, and here is Alexei, who grounded out to Marte at third. So now a 10-game hitting streak for Adam. Mark Carlson could not have been in any better position than he was in to make that call, and he just missed it.
.71% stolen base percentage. Adam will certainly be working on that. Got off to a very slow start, base running percentage wise this year. Lately, he's gotten a whole lot better at it.
And another good play. Thrown a little leather already on a couple of good plays. Meanwhile, we get on the board and we lead at 1-0. takes the mound for our Sox against their Daniel Norris. So don't miss the first pitch at 6 p.m. Central, right here on CSN Chicago.
Daniel Norris is one of the guys that they got in the deal that sent David Price to Toronto. They believe that Norris is going to be a big-time starting pitcher for them. They could use it. They gave up a lot of talent in Cespedes and Price. They hope the guys they got back are pretty good.
Here's Moya. First pitch, pops it up. Sanchez now making the call, has the ball. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Those 2 trades may be the reason that Boston has a new president of baseball operations.
Well, that and the fact that the one thing he could never do, and that's Dave Dombrowski, he could get there, he couldn't quite get over the top. And I think the owner, Mr. Ilitch, who's a wonderful man and has supported this team to the tune of many millions of dollars, looking for a World Series championship before he moves on.
Brian Holiday hitting at .259, a homer he's driven in 12, and he's shown us he is good behind the plate. In fact, every time he's played against us, he's done something to hurt us.
You really don't have to watch it now, but you will watch it if the game gets close late. He's a terrific bunter, and he doesn't mind bunting for a base hit, and usually when he does, it does hurt you.
Well, last year he beat us in the game with a bunt. One hopper. Two down.
I like what Jeff has gone out there to do today. He's really not going deep in too many counts. He's getting ahead. He's very aggressive. He's working quickly. Not worried about any strikeouts. Worried about making good pitches on each and every pitch. Not thinking about the third pitch when he's making the first pitch. And that's one of the adjustments that he's made. There you see against the Tigers this year, 1-1. This is his 5th start against them, so he's certainly familiar with these guys, if not the young guys.
Here's Machado. Dixon Machado, 23-year-old shortstop. Hitting at .256. He's a .232 career minor league hitter.
Yeah, right now, they say that he can play defensively in the major leagues. They are a bit concerned about the bat.
Olds got him, and that's 9 up, 9 down for Jeff. A 1-0 Sox lead here in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Abreu, Cabrera, and Trace Thompson. Jose 0 for 1, went out to left center field. Breaking ball misses.
Outfield playing him almost dead straight away and very deep, as you would expect, all the way around.
And he's got a 3-0 count.
Infield playing him as a dead pull hitter on the left side with Marte and Machado very close to one another.
Turn him loose right here. So there's the first walk of the ball game.
Hey, Sox fans, join Ron Kittle, Harold Baines, Avisail Garcia, and Carlos Sanchez on November 28th for the Sox on the Beach Apple Vacation. This 7-night all-inclusive hotel stay will be at the Iberostar Paraíso del Mar in beautiful Riviera Maya, Mexico. There's going to be a private welcome party and autograph session, food and drink, and special group activities with your White Sox hosts. Visit applevacations.com/White Sox to book your trip today.
Melky fakes the bunt, takes the strike. He popped up to Ghost in center field. Oh, and 2 the count.
Last 8 games, Melky has been hitting on the button, close to 400. A couple of home runs, 10 driven in. He scored 5. Little looper into center field, and Kinsler with the catch. That looked like a base hit when it left the bat. But Ian Kinsler, a very solid second baseman, able to make the catch.
Almost a Kansas City special.
Kinsler breaking straight back, and then Machado going back to second base to cover it just in case.
That'll bring up Trace Thompson. Trace 0 for 1. He hit a rocket on a 3-2 count right to Kinsler. Uh-oh. And rack him up. 169th double play turn by the Tigers.
and delicious food and beverage options, and you can enjoy them prior and during White Sox games. For more information, call 312-674-1000.
We have a 1-0 lead here going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Smart just retired. Everybody he's seen. So it's back to the top of the order with Ghost, Kinsler, and J.D. Martinez.
And just in case, Mike Olt is in at the cut of the grass at third base, anticipating that Ghost might be thinking about laying one down. And he was, but he was going to drag it.
He was going the other way.
Yeah.
Goes 0 for 1. Struck out on a wicked slider down and in. He's had, if you're just tuning in, Jeff's had good depth on his slider so far.
He's also getting ahead of all of these Tiger hitters.
0-2 the count.
Jeez, what an oddity.
Some of these guys are not letting him have a chance to get ahead. Going after that first pitch real quick.
Not necessarily a bad game plan.
No. Not if you're a good first ball hitter. That's up high. He gone. He knew it. Third strikeout for Jeff.
This is certainly a completely different Jeff Samardzija that we've seen since the trading deadline. He just freezes him on a good moving fastball. And make no mistake, there are a lot of scouts in the stands. They're taking a look at all the guys who have a chance to be a free agent heading into next year.
Well, the guy they're looking at the most is on the mound right now, getting ready to throw a pitch to Ian Kinsler. That's hit right at him. It's a hang woofer for Ian. 2 down.
Time now for our Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat, and it involves J.D. Martinez, who's having just a banner year. His previous career high was 23 home runs. He's at 37. Previous career high 76 driven in. He's driven in 96. Hits, you can see that. Runs, he scored many more. And games, he's played more than he ever has before in the major leagues. And what a year it's been for J.D.
When healthy, when you've got Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and J.D. Martinez, 3, 4, and 5. That's a pretty good 3, 4, 5.
A lot of thunder in the offense and a lot of problems in the bullpen. And to go along with it, starting rotation these days.
Well, last year, at one point, the Tigers arguably had the best 5 starters in baseball.
It is pretty amazing to see what happened.
And they had no bullpen.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care how good your starters are. If you don't have a bullpen, you're going to lose. And they lost. There's a strike.
What was beautiful for these Tigers, they started out 11-2, and everybody thought they were pretty much going to coast to their 5th straight division title. Now, Kansas City certainly was going to be a challenge for them, but I don't think anybody expected the deterioration of this entire team literally before their very eyes, and the breakup of the team seemingly by the All-Star break.
That's back in the seats.
And Alavila, who was given an extended contract as a new general manager, he's got his work cut out for him because he's not left with a loaded system. There's a look at Al. was
signed a 5-year contract.
Signed the right-hand man of Dave Dombrowski for quite some time. They really like him here, but boy, he's got some work.
That's off the end of the bat. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He gone. 4 strikeouts now for Jeff. 1-2-3 inning, and he leads it 1-0. Top of the 5th inning, Garcia, Soto, and Olt to face young Kyle Ryan. Our guys lead it 1-0. Count evens.
Ryan, original property of these Tigers, drafted in the 11th round of June 2010. Was up last year 2-0 with a 2.61 ERA. Just 1 start, however, in the 6 games.
That ball is another hang. Wolfham. Kinsler.
I think Ian initially thought that he should jump for that one, only to realize that it wasn't going to be all that high.
Soto was robbed of a double on a beautiful play, layout, full layout by Marte at third base. There's a little soft comeback.
Sox fans, tweet your strongest fan photo by using hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Here's Mike Olt. He grunted out to Kinsler. 2 balls and a strike.
Mike's looking for one middle in, and hopefully he can get it up thigh high.
Right field. Back on the track. Meanwhile, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple balls hit hard. We're halfway home leading 1-0. Victor Martinez, Tyler Collins, and Jeffrey Marte. Victor lined out to Adam Eaton in center field.
12 up, 12 down so far as Jeff gotten it, thrown it. Tigers hitting a lot of first and second pitches.
There was a strike and he didn't get it. Now it's 2-0. That's trouble. Broken bat, Kansas City special. And you can cancel the post-game show.
This ball is up and in. It really isn't a good hitter's pitch. And he caught it just above the hands. Didn't get anything into it, just enough to ease it over the head of Ramirez and in front of Thompson.
So here's Collins. Collins hit the ball deep into center field.
Tigers think that Tyler Collins might have a chance.
Well, he's now 3 for 4 lifetime off his margin. Check that, 3 for 5. He was 3 for 3 coming into this ball game. So 1 out, and here's Marte.
He got a hold of that one just a little short as he chased Avi back to the track, and he made the catch.
Marte also 1 out to Eaton in center. Back in the second inning, all 3 hitters went out to Adam Eaton.
There's a very good chance that Jose Iglesias will not be ready to play the rest of this year, certainly not in this series.
Two and 0, and they're holding Victor Martinez on.
If you're rebuilding this Tiger team, and you know you got yourself a pretty good catcher, and that's McCann, and you got yourself a very good shortstop in Iglesias, you got yourself a good second baseman in Kinsler, and a pretty good outfield platoon in center. How do you go about, what's your priority in building this team next year?
Bullpen.
Just go out and try to acquire the best you can out there?
No question about it. Just bullpen. If the Tigers had had a decent bullpen, and there's a little soft, nice little pick, and can't get him at first, but a good try. But if the Tigers had a decent bullpen in the last couple of years, they would probably won a couple world championships.
Yeah, I would think so. And you would think out of all the things to assemble, especially the great arms leading you up to that closer, it's difficult to find that everyday closer that you can really depend on. But arms up to the closer, there's a lot of great arms around.
Well, Joe Nathan did a real good job for him for a couple of years.
Yeah, he
before
did.
He just flat ran out of gas in his arm. But what a great reliever he was for many years with Minnesota and then Detroit for a couple of seasons. But I mean, you've got to build a bullpen. And when you got to get it, you got to make it easier on your ball club. You got to make it easier on your manager, and you do that by, in essence, trying to build a bullpen to let you play a 6-inning ball game, 6 or 7-inning ball game.
Well, then here's the dilemma: do you build it front to back, or do you build it back to front?
Build it any way you can build it.
Just get whoever's available who can help you.
You're not going to be able to build it back to front.
You're not going to get that closer?
No. Heck no. Who's going to get it? No, you're not. You've got to take somebody. The thing now is that's in the center field is taking one of the starters and making them a closer. But meanwhile, he'll make that catch. That'll retire the side. We're into the 6th, leading 1-0. Bears recap. Watch Coach Fox's press conference to get a breakdown of yesterday's loss to Arizona with host Chris Bowden and former Bear Dan Jiggins. So don't miss United Bears recap today at 4:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Carlos Sanchez doubled and scored back in the third inning. That is the lone tally in this ball game. Takes first pitch strike. We have 1 run on 2 hits. They have no runs on 1 hit. That ball hit well into left field. Stretch, stretch. It will. You can put it on the board. Yes. Number 5 for Carlos, and it's a 2-0 game.
So Carlos has figured prominently in both runs, and he's driven in his 31st of the year. For the young players, this is such an important month. Our Ford home run replay. You've got to leave your manager, your general manager, the front office with an impression that you can do it. And Carlos has been the youngest player in just about every league he's played in. He got off to a really tough start. He's hit the ball exceptionally well. He's played a very strong defensive second base, and he's going to leave a very positive impression.
Well, he's already done that. Rick Hahn and Bobby Ventura know he can play. He's shown that way that he can turn double plays. It just amazes me on the arm strength this year as opposed to last year. How much it.
I just think it's got to be maturity. He's such a young player, and he told me that he didn't do anything special to get the arm stronger. It just got stronger.
Well, that happens. You just grow up. Guys, the bunny. Adam with that RBI single. He's 1 for 2. Well, that happens in baseball. I recall White Sox used to have a player who came over from the National League. His name was Dick Allen. Richie Allen.
Pretty good one.
Well, Dick and I played against each other coming up in the minor leagues, and we were Eastern League in 1962 as foul tip. He played in Williamsport, which was literally a bandbox. I think he had 17, 18 home runs, which was nothing for that ballpark. And then we go to spring training the next year. He's with the Phillies. And there's a base hit by Adam. And I'm with Kansas City, so we go play the Phillies in Clearwater, and we walk into the ballpark, and I see this guy in the cage. He's hitting these balls up in a light tower. I said, who in the world is that? He had shoulders on him real wide. I walk up to the cage, and I said, my goodness, Richie, is that you? He says, yeah. I said, you've been lifting weights? Because that was taboo back in those days. You did not lift weights. He said, Hawk, I just grew up.
He told me he never lifted a weight in his life.
Nobody did back in those days.
And you looked at, I was a teammate of his with the White Sox in '73. You looked at his body, it looked like it was chiseled out of granite.
He just grew up.
Yeah, he got really strong. Could take a 40-ounce bat, and if you slow it down, he pointed it at the pitcher before he came back and got it around on just about everybody's fastball.
He was something. The players, it's amazing sometimes. You don't see it all the time, but it's amazing sometimes. 1 year of really just going home doing nothing, not even playing winter ball or anything, and all of a sudden you just grow up. Outfield straight up.
Number one, you have to have an awfully strong arm, and 2, you have to have a terrific move if you're going to use that step back move and then throw to first base. There's not many guys around that can get enough on the throw to actually pick somebody off with that move.
That's into center field. Ghost did not get a real good jump, but that speed of his recovers and makes the catch.
Makeup speed is invaluable if you're going to play center field, because invariably you are going to misjudge something, especially when it's right at you. And Ghost did that. He froze and then came on and made the play. Tiger bullpen is throwing for the first time. Drew Verhagen.
There's Abreu. He's gone out to left and walked. Pitch a little bit low.
You would think this would be a much better at bat. He's had a couple of looks. He knows exactly how the fastball moves. He knows what the slider looks like and what the straight change looks like.
Well, that last at bat in that walk, he didn't give me anything to hit. 21.
American League leaders in RBIs on the road, and Jose has the lead over Josh Donaldson. Mike Trout right there. That's some pretty good talent right there.
Pretty good young players right there.
Some good talent.
There he goes.
I think his hand might have come off the bag because it appeared in the initial slide that he had beaten the play, and he wants to talk with Tripp Gibson about it. It is a caught stealing, and we'll take another look. Gets a good jump. It's a straight steal.
And did not come off.
No. He says he got him before his foot hit the bag, and apparently that is the case. It's a good throw.
So he's now 15 for 22 in stolen bases, and with 2 out, here's the 1-2 pitch.
Brian Holiday made that play because he had a terrific jump and still gunned him down.
And that'll retire the side, but the home run by Carlos Sanchez is 5th, and we lead it 2-0. With Anthony Gose. Ryan Holiday went out to third. Pretty good rip at that underneath it and straight back. 0-1 the count to the 27-year-old receiver. So the Tigers appear to be in good shape catching wise. They got Alex Avila and they've got James Can. They got Ryan Holiday. They're in pretty good shape.
I would think they're one of the few teams that can actually say we don't have to worry about the catching position going into next year. They don't have to worry about shortstop. They certainly don't have to worry about second. And it appears, as long as they're going to stay with that platoon system they have, that center field is pretty solid. But all that staff they got to work on.
Yeah, Rajay Davis, when they stick Rajay, especially against us, Rajay just kills us. And J.D. Martinez out in the outfield, they're decent out there. But Iglesias is one of the best shortstops in the game, if he can stay healthy.
And you'd think if they had one thing to improve upon, and a lot of teams are looking for this, it's a little more speed. But again, you can't have everything, and they need a revamp of the staff, the pitching staff.
He gone. 5 strikeouts now.
I love to see this. You get ahead of the hitter and then you buzz him upstairs with a fastball. That's something that Jose Quintana has been doing all year. Something that Chris Sale does a lot of, as well as Carlos Rodin, who's learning to do it more. And with Jeff and his very good control, when you get ahead of hitters, you don't have to get them out in the strike zone.
Machado, he went out to third base his first trip. Dixon, Machado. Well, it's very doubtful that a club's going to be able to revamp the starting staff and go get a bullpen. Very unlikely that's going to happen. The bullpen is the first thing they got to work on, and then if they're healthy, if Cabrera can stay healthy, if Iglesias can stay healthy, if Victor can get back over that sore knee, then they're going to score enough runs. That's
a big question mark in their starting rotation is Anibal Sanchez. Is just exactly which Sanchez they're getting back.
Well, 2 years ago he was the best pitcher on the staff.
He was outstanding. And if you take a look there, you'll see that the starters ERA, the bullpen ERA, both last in the American League. So we talked about Al Avila and the job he has. It's a big job going forward.
Alexei. 2 down. I talk to our hitters. They'll give you the true line on a pitcher, regardless of how he looks from the booth or whatever. And 2 years ago, all our hitters would tell you Anibal Sanchez best starter on this staff. That changeup he had was just awesome. He could get that curveball over anytime he wanted it for a strike.
Yeah, this is just a disappointing year at 10-10 with an ERA of 4.99 in his 25 starts.
Well, everything's contagious in this game, and when you start going bad, and all our Sox fans are very familiar with this in 2015. When you start going bad, everything is contagious, and it just gets worse. Very seldom you're going to stop it. It's like a virus. Tigers, very disappointing to see. Seattle, very disappointing to see. Boston, very disappointing to see. San Diego, very disappointing this season. And the biggest disappointment to me have been the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah. Well, they had no choice but to let Max Scherzer go out the door because they weren't going to match that dollar offer that the Washington Nationals gave him. They traded Porcello. They traded him for Cespedes. On the surface, not a bad deal, thinking that you were going to go for it and Cespedes was going to be the guy.
It was a good trade with the pitching staff they had.
Yeah, it was.
There's a strike. Ghost 0 for 2. Struck out on the slider down and in, and called out on a fastball. Two, 4, and 0 for us. 0, 1, and 0 for them. And there are at least 8, maybe closer to 10 scouts in attendance today.
Well, this is a huge plus in the Jeff Samardzija column for. Is his arm healthy? Absolutely. Does he still have some life on the fastball? Yes, he does. What's happened the previous 9 starts? I don't know, but the guy I saw today is pretty good.
And that's foul. I'll tell you, in my opinion, what happened is that he, like every other pitcher, just went through a little bit of a tired arm. Period. And as you well know, being a former pitcher, when you go in a tired arm period, and you have a tendency to get on the slide or on the side or underneath your slider or your curveball, and his breaking ball was almost non-existent.
Well, if it is indeed as simple as a case of mechanics, then there's going to be a lot of people interested in Jeff Samardzija. I believe that if he chooses, and I don't know he's going to do that, because I do believe that the qualifying offer will be there. Now, it's never been taken by anybody since this qualifying offer situation and validating your draft choice if they turn down the qualifying offer. Since that's happened, nobody's ever taken it. And from Jeff's standpoint, nobody knows what he's going to do. But I do believe he's going to be a whole lot better next year than he's been the latter portions of this year for a number of different reasons.
Well, there's never been a question, in my opinion, in this ground ball about the condition of his arm. Even in that down period he was going through, he was hitting 97 on occasion. But there's a 1-2-3 inning, and we're into the 7th, leading 2-0.
Field is accessible from the 100, 300, and 500 levels. You can learn baseball fundamentals from Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches, and you can learn it in the batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and more. It's all from Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Cabrera, Trace Thompson, and Garcia. Avi. 2, 4, and 0 for our guys. 0, 1, and 0 for their guys. First of this split doubleheaders. There's a curveball strike to Milwaukee, who has popped up to center and popped up to Kensler in short center. And there's a base hit. Another hard hit ball by Cabrera.
And Melky took that big aggressive turn at first base, which is something you certainly love to see. putting the pressure on the outfielders to get the ball back in, and if they juggle it, he's on his way to second.
Getting back to Samardzija, though, the innings pitched in 13, he worked 214 innings. Last year, he had 220 innings. He's going to go past that this year in innings. As here's Trace. Takes first pitch strike. Trace is lined hard, real hard to Kinsler and hit into a 5-4-3 double play.
In many instances for pitchers, your wins are a product of your baseball team. Whether they can field it, whether they can hit it, how much they score for you, will the bullpen save your games? But in this day and age of baseball, they will pay you, and pay you handsomely for 200 innings. And Jeff Samardzija, year after year after year, is going to get you in excess of 200 innings.
Bottom line is he's going to get a lot of money from somebody.
There's no doubt. There is no doubt. Elke started to go, but Holiday, pretty good block. It rolled out in front of him. And no advancement.
Two balls and a strike. Yes, he did. 2-2. He didn't check swing quite a. I mean, you don't see that a lot. Trace. And then when he does, most of the time, he's got a pretty good technique. Nice pick right there. And a nice double play turn.
Well, Kinsler is pretty good at second base. Number one, he is always going to stand in there. So he's going to get the throw off. The question is how quickly he can get it away. And Trace Thompson can run, and this is the second double play he's grounded into. This is a little closer than the first, but Kinsler there, he will always get the throw off. He's got plenty of time this time and gets it off just in time.
Here's Avi. Avi is struck out and lined hard to Kinsler. And there's a shot, base hit. Boy, Avi. We got to get the big man going these last couple of weeks.
Talk a little bit about, you mentioned a number of times about the technique of checking your swing, because I don't think a lot of people understand that there is a technique for that.
Well, if I were a hitting coach, that'd be one of the things you work on in spring training as much almost as anything. The technique on checking up the swing. Two reasons. Obviously, the first reason is because you don't get it called so much. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, if you are a guy who, especially if you're strong and you check up the swing a lot, when you get to August and September, your wrists are going to kill you. And as you well know, I'm a poster child for bad wrists because I was strong and I checked up a lot and I struck out a lot. So that being the case, but if that's one of the first things I would do as a hitting coach is work on technique. And there are several. There was going way back machine. Dodgers used to have a guy named Carl Furillo, who was an outfielder who was a very strong guy. There's a strike, and he had a beautiful technique. What he would do is he would start his swing, and all of a sudden he would just take his left hand off and slide his right hand up the bat, which was his technique.
So it appeared that he was not swinging.
Exactly.
I mean, it looked like he was just putting the bat out front, but not swinging.
But not swinging. No intent. That's the whole key. No intent. Trace has got a pretty good technique if you work on it. He releases his right side when he starts most of the time. Now, he didn't on that check swing prior. But you never see guys working on their second swing.
I don't think they think about it at all.
No. No. And that'd be one of the first things that you should do.
It used to be occasionally, and you don't see it anymore, that guys would start their swing and drop the bat. You don't see that very much, but it used to see that, and if you drop the bat, you can't swing it. It's impossible. And they would buy a lot of calls that way.
I've played with some guys that did that. Alexei at times, not all the time, but he'll go through periods there where his technique is real good on checking the swing, and then other times he'll go where he just every time he starts it's going to go. It's just that simple.
And it's Drew Verhagen once again throwing in the pen. This is the second time he's been up.
Yeah, if you could save yourself 20 or 30, even sometimes more than that, especially for strong hitters, at bats a year, you're talking about a significant amount of at bats. And especially today, with the way pitchers get you 2 strikes and then throw that breaking ball in the dirt. That is so much more prevalent today than it was 30 or 40 years ago. It's not even close. Full count.
So far 64% strikes. That's been good. He probably wants to work on that first pitch strike. 17 to 27 has been okay. And the one man he's had consistent trouble with is a guy who's been in the middle of the scoring, and that's Carlos Sanchez. Double and a run scored and a home run.
That ball hit hard. Meanwhile, that'll retire the side. So 7th inning stretch. We lead it 2-0.
Through the 31st at the Chicago Hilton. You'll score an autograph or photo with your favorite current players or coaches, as well as White Sox greats. Your favorite areas are back. You can play games, win prizes, and shop for White Sox gear. Tickets go on sale Wednesday, September 23rd at 10 a.m. So to purchase, visit whitesox.com/SoxFest. And that's always just a wonderful 3 days.
That's one of my favorite times of the year, Sox Fest, when you get a chance to talk up close and personal, face to face with fans. Now, the only downside of that is when you leave, you're always going to have a cold.
There's very little doubt about that.
No, you're going to go home with a cold. That's popped up by Kinsler. So 1 down.
Yeah, there really isn't anything more refreshing than flying from, in your case, Florida, in my case, Arizona. Getting off that plane and feeling that nice blast of chilled air for the first time, in quite some time.
You can feel it right through the ramp.
It is a delight.
So here is Martinez.
However, talking about the new acquisitions, and there's always going to be some of those, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's always great too to see that ball hit deep in the right center field. But we got a man there. Hits the ball, makes the catch. Nice play. Hang Wolfram, JD. 2 down.
In the meantime, Jeff is still staying aggressive. He's still getting just about every pitch early in the count in the zone. And this time he throws a fastball. It's on the inner third. But Adam, in a very deep part of the ballpark, able to run it down with maybe a step and a half to spare.
Here comes Victor. He is lined hard to Adam. Adam's doing a busy little man out there today. And Victor also has the only hit they have. That was a Kansas City special, just over the head of our infield into left field for a base hit.
This is a great ballpark for a center fielder to look awfully good if he gets a good break on everything, because there is so much room in the alleys here. At 420 to straightaway center field.
Well, for a couple of years there, Austin Jackson was one of the big keys to this ball club, because he covered everything out there.
State-of-the-art center fielder, traded for Curtis Granderson in a trade that really helped both teams.
Right to Alexei. So that's the last 9 retired by Samardzija. We're into the 8th. Sportsnet Central, and tonight we have the latest on the Bears, plus the Blackhawks get ready to take the ice in tomorrow night's preseason opener right here in Detroit. Mike Leary will be there with all his boys, and don't miss these stories and much more on the 6:30 p.m. edition of Sportsnet Central right here on CSN Chicago.
We got a new pitcher that's coming in the ball game, and it is a right-hander, Drew Verhagen. Numbers are pretty good. On for the 16th time. He's 2-0. His ERA 2.66. Now, control has been a factor for him. It hasn't been particularly good, but he's been able to quite obviously pitch over a lot of control issues. He's only given up 1 home run in 20 1/3, and Kyle Ryan did a nice job. 7 innings, a couple of runs on 6 hits. Obviously having some problems with Sanchez.
Micah Johnson will hit for Olt. What a nice job by Kyle Ryan.
He gave Brad Ausmus exactly what he needed in the first game of a doubleheader. You don't go through your bullpen, and you get 7 strong.
Well, Jimmy Price, former catcher for the Tigers, also announcer many years, told me before the game, he said, don't overlook this guy. He said, this guy can, he's throwing strikes, which he did today. He only walked 1 guy. He can be tough, and he was. As that's out number 1.
Top of the strike zone, but a strike. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and here's our Miller moment. And it came in the 6th, leading off the 6th. A line drive rocket over the bullpens. And that was home run number 5 for Carlos, our Miller moment.
Well, you take Carlos out of this game, it's 0-0. He doubled and scored in the 3rd. Eaton knocked him in. Yanks that one foul. Game 2 tonight. Yeah, 6:08 Central start. Eric Johnson against the southpaw Randy Wolf, and that game will be over WPWR My 50. Nice play. Can't make it. Another base hit.
I don't think there's much you can do with that one, as Machado goes up the middle and then winds up on the seat of his pants.
Well, it's also tough to swing a bat sitting on the seat of your pants.
It is that. So he's got it. And yeah, not going to be able to throw at anybody from that position.
Here's Adam. He's 2 for 3. Before the game, talking with the great Hall of Fame outfielder Al Kaline about the seat of your pants hitting. It's just not done too much anymore.
No.
Of course, with Al, it was never done too much anyway, because we used to go over meetings about the Tiger lineup. When we got to Kaline, they said, don't knock him down. Don't mess with it. Don't upset him. Leave him alone.
There was another guy who started in the National League, came over to the American League by the name of Frank Robinson.
Same way.
Same thing, they said. He's a good enough hitter anyway. Don't give him any added incentive.
Yeah, you ever knock Kaline down, you had your hands full. Two 2-0 the count, 1 out. Oh, nice pick. Look at that pick right there by Marte. Can't turn it. That was a beautiful. That ball was a skinner.
In talking about a lot of the new players, they said that these guys on the left side can field pretty well. And that was an outstanding effort. And maybe a normal runner, guy swinging from the right side, you could have doubled, but not Adam Eaton.
Here's Alexei. Alexei is 0 for 3, and he's hit 2 line drives. Fouls that back.
Time now for AT&T UVerse Multiview.
That'll buckle your knees. 0-2. goes. Set the peg in time. Beautiful play by Jeffrey Marte. Saved that inning. Meanwhile, we still lead it 2-0. All right, Chuck, thank you much, buddy. As here's Tyler Collins. He's had the best 2 at-bats by far of anybody. He's going out deep to center and deep to right. Coming in, as I mentioned earlier, he was 3 for 3 lifetime off Jeff. So he sees the ball well off of him. That is pop foul, and that's going to be over their dugout in Souvenir Land.
Gordon Beckham checks in the game at third base.
Two 7-0 for us, 0-1-0 for them. They have 1 hit. They have stranded 1 man in this game. If you're just joining us, and that's into left field. Trace has got him.
Enter the White Sox Fan Appreciation Sweepstakes now for a chance to win a variety of unique prizes, including a jersey autographed by the 2005 White Sox, tickets to Fan Appreciation Day on October 4th, and more. Visit whitesox.com/summer sweeps.
That's the first play Trace Thompson has had in this ball game, coming here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So here's Marte. He's going out to center and hitting to a 6-4 fielder's choice. Carlos has got him 2 down.
A lot of first pitch swinging by these Tigers, and not much advantage to them.
Well, we played a split at Fenway one year. Dick Williams was the manager. Okay, he told us before the games, because it was sort of late in the season, and they weren't really that meaningful. He said, anybody who walks today is going to find them $100.
Well, Jeff hasn't walked anybody. He hasn't got deep in too many counts, but he's had really good stuff.
Here's Moya. Takes first pitch strike.
This young guy can hit it a long way. The only question that the Tigers do have about him is, will he hit it often enough?
.251 career minor league hitter.
He's one of their top prospects, and he's a big guy. As you can see, not one inning has found him in any trouble whatsoever. When you don't walk anybody and you give up one hit, you really don't get in any trouble.
Well, this guy should be able to hit it a long way. He's 6'6", 230. That's not a good swing. That's too many short arms there.
Last year at Erie, he struck out 161 times. You got to look here in Detroit. 8 at bats. And he had 3 hits.
1-2 pitch. He gone. So that is 12 in a row retired by some margin.
High-speed action replay, and it's Adam Eaton driving this through the right side. A very close play at the plate. In fact, the play was reviewed. The call was overturned. That's the first run of the ball game, and an RBI for Adam Eaton, his 49. Our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and that so far is pretty much all Jeff Samardzija needed, but Sox added another one. And Al Albuquerque comes in the ball game. This is the Motor City. Al usually is Slider City. He throws a lot of them.
Abreu yanks that one foul. Jose has gone out to left, walked, and struck out. Just tuning in, we scored a run in the third. RBI single by Adam Eaton. Then in the sixth, the home run by Carlos Sanchez.
Albuquerque originally signed by the Cubs. At times he's been a very good reliever for these Tigers. Never really a closer, not really a premier setup man, but a guy who's used in the 7th inning quite a bit.
Nice gap out there in left center if he can find it. Wind blowing briskly from left to right. And some of the flags coming straight in. Good eye just off the corner.
Albuquerque is from the Dominican Republic, and guess where? San Pedro de Macorís.
One out.
want to hit Albuquerque, you better be able to hit a slider, because he throws you a bunch of them. Or hope that he hangs one.
He's almost. I didn't say like, but almost like Larry Anderson.
Larry was
former right-handed pitcher for several teams.
He threw one straight was when he tossed it to the umpire to get a new ball. The rest were sliders.
Every one. Well, it's not unlike Mariano Rivera. For about 10 years, every pitch was a cutter. And every pitch was in the same location, away to the right-hander, into the left-hander. You knew what you were getting, you just couldn't hit it. That's the reason he's the greatest that ever lived.
And then he learned how to hit both sides of the plate with that slider. That came late in the career.
Yeah. First 8 or 10 out of that bullpen, though, you knew exactly what was coming and where it was going. You get major league hitters, there's a rule that know that. You're going to get lit up. That just shows you how great Mariano Rivera was.
And for many years, managers around the league used to pinch hit with left-handers against him, and they had no chance.
Sheer stupidity.
Yeah, they just kept breaking bat after bat after bat.
Sheer stupidity. Another foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, last year was a big addition to this bullpen. 70 appearances, a .251 earned run average.
Well, in talking to Tiger people over the years, one thing that they really liked about Albuquerque, he'll take the ball.
And every team needs one of those guys.
Better believe it. Not every team has one.
No.
And another souvenir.
Good thing that Al is not a small man, because he's running out of back for that name. Starts in the middle of the 62 and goes to the middle on the other side.
Ground ball off the glove, so it'll be a base hit. So Melky picks up his second hit.
See, like I've told you all along, for you hitters, it always evens out. All those line drives that were caught, this evens it out.
Don't even go there.
Yeah, look at that deflection. Otherwise, maybe it's an out.
Pitchers are the most narcissistic individuals in sports.
We just believe
not just baseball, sports.
We just believe that everybody should be out.
And you believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Here's Trace. He's 0 for 3. Hit the ball hard twice.
That and the fact that every hit, the fielders are in the wrong position.
Well, you play with a guy that felt that way.
I know. Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Great pitcher.
Mr. Palmer.
8-time 20-game winner, 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
I never saw a pitcher move guys around from the mound as he did.
Me either.
The advantage was he actually knew that he was going to throw it in a spot and actually threw it there.
And he could do it.
Pretty good idea where the ball was going to go.
Yeah, I never saw a pitcher direct traffic more than he did. No. What a pitcher. Uh-oh, they're going to get him again. Third double play hit into by Trace. Hang with him, kid. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. It is 2-0. Good guys.
Photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So Jeff is out there ready to wrap up what he hopes will be a one-hit shutout. Got a 2-run lead, and he's been brilliant this afternoon.
Well, he's worked 8 innings, and I have not seen one hanging breaking ball come out of his hand.
No, the slider today has
Not
been
one.
as good as it's been all year long.
He's had depth on it from the first one he threw. So here's Holiday. 0 for 2. He's grounded to third, struck out.
And Gordon wisely in close at third base, because if a good bunter decides to try to bunt his way on, he brings a tying run to the plate. So getting on base is paramount to start an inning.
Off the end of the bat. And quickly, nothing into the count. That was just the 82nd pitch that he has thrown. And that's popped up. Sanchez. Big out.
Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. College students enjoy a back-to-school offer with a 35% off discount. Authentication required. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV today. What we're seeing is one of the rarest of occurrences, and that is, so far, nobody has been up in the pen. Jeff has been in command, and nary a reliever has thrown a baseball in the Sox pen.
Well, he's got a little better than 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. As here's Dixon Machado is grounded to third and grounded to short. Top of the zone, one of the few 2-0 counts he's had in this ball game. He took a good rip at that one underneath it. Right at him, and 2 down.
We'll take a look at the only reason why Jeff is not going for a perfect game. It's a high, tight fastball. He gets just a little bit of it and dumps it into left field. That has been the only base runner today.
That is a broken bat Kansas City special right there. So here is the leadoff hitter, Anthony Gose. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
And again, Gordon playing close at third and coming in with the pitch.
Left field, Trace Thompson, and this ball game is over. So Jeff Samardzija from pitch 1 in complete control of this ball game. Did not hang a single breaking ball all day long, Steve, and what a performance.
Just an outstanding effort. You could pretty much see it. When he started throwing sliders, he struck out the first 2 hitters, Gose and Kinsler, and just kept it up the rest of the day, getting ahead early. These Tigers were aggressive, swinging early in the count, and Jeff Samardzija with an absolute gem in the opener of 2.